What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today we're doing a Nemleria deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one for you guys because this deck was actually suggested to me by one of my patrons, Mimi. And this deck is an extremely powerful deck that I've included all sorts of spicy tech cards in this build for you guys. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name description in every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron. And definitely give Mimi some love down in the comments down below for suggesting such an awesome deck. So let's get straight on into this one, guys. So first off, we're playing 3 copies of Dreaming Nemleria. This card is definitely a 3-of in the build and the main card of this deck. This card has the ability once per turn during the main phase, you can actually place a Nemleria continuous spell from your deck or your graveyard face up on the field. And if you do, add this card to your extra deck face up, which you're always placing on your side of the field, Dreaming Tower of Nemleria. This card also has an awesome monster effect that helps you board wipe the opponent because it cannot be normal summoned or set. It must be special summoned from your extra deck face up by having no other cards in your extra deck except this card. And if this card is special summoned, for every 3 of your banished face down cards, you actually get to banish up to 1 card that your opponent has on their field or their graveyard face down, then shuffle one of your banished face down cards back in the deck for each of the banished cards that you use for this card's effect, which is absolutely amazing. This card helps you board wipe your opponent's field so you can go in for game with all of your dream defenders. We then play 3 copies of Devour. Devour is really cool as a 3-of in the deck, because this card instantly gets you to one of your Nemleria traps, and it's super easy to summon out to your side of the field, because if this card's in your hand or your graveyard, you can banish 3 cards from your extra deck face down, except Dreaming Nemleria, to be able to special summon this card. But you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn you activate this effect, except Pendulum monsters. But this card lets you send one other level 10 beast monster from your hand or face up from field to graveyard to set a Nemleria trap directly from your deck to your side of the field, which is an awesome effect. We then play 2 copies of Nemleria Dream Defender Chocolate. This card is very easy to summon out to your side of the field, but you only need 2 copies of this card because you can easily get to this card with your copy of Dreaming Tower. But if you have a face-up Pendulum monster in your extra deck, you can actually special summon this card from your hand, which is a really cool effect, but this card gets absolutely massive, which is why I play this card as a 2-of in the build. We then play 2 copies of Nemleria Dream Defender Vanilla. This card is really good as a 2-of in the build as well, because this card is just absolutely amazing to summon out to your side of the field to help you OTK your opponent. And this card shares a similar effect to your copy of Chocolate, that if you have a face-up Pendulum monster in your extra deck, you can special summon this card from your hand. Also, when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets Nemleria cards that you control, while you control a face-up Dreaming Nemleria in your extra deck quick effect, you can banish 1 face-down card from your extra deck face down to negate the activation, which is a really cool effect. We then play a single copy of Dreaming Reality of Nemleria. This card is really good as a 1-of in the deck. I only feel like you need a single copy of this card though. This card gains 100 attack for each of your face down cards that's in the extra deck. And this card also has a really cool ability. If this card is in your hand, you can target 1 card you control, place it on the bottom deck, and if you do, special summon this card. And if this card is special, you can activate one of these effects to add a Dreaming Nemleria from your deck to your extra deck face up, or change 1 other face up monster on the field to face down defense position, which is a pretty cool ability. Again, I only feel like you need a single copy of this card, but it's really good in the deck. We then play 3 copies of Water Enchantress. The cool thing about this deck is you really don't have a normal summon in this particular build, because all of your Dreaming Beasts just instantly special summon themselves out to your side of the field, and Dreaming Nemleria actually cannot be normal summoned or set, so the adventure package works extremely well in this deck. So Water Enchantress is amazing to help you get to your copy of Rite of Arameser, which is why I'm playing this card as a 3-of in the deck. We then play a single copy of Wandering Griffin Rider. This card is amazing in the deck to be able to work with your adventure package because it is a walking negate and helps you get an additional monster out on your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Kashtira Fenrir. Fenrir is just amazing overall in this deck to help you special summon an additional monster out to your side of the field. It can search another copy of itself from your deck to your hand, which is amazing, and also it spot removes cards off the field. And it's basically a cyber dragon. If you don't control a monster, you can special summon this card in your hand. It's an amazing board breaker, and just an overall fantastic card. We then play 2 copies of Eater of Millions. Eater of Millions is just really good at helping you banish your extract, and overall just a fantastic boss monster to make in this deck. You can use it as link material, but it's really good to be able to summon out to your side of the field, because once per turn, at the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can banish that opponent's monster face down, which is a pretty cool effect. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is definitely a 3-of in the deck, just to stop your opponent from touching the deck. So, that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with these 2 copies of Dream Tower of Princess Nemleria. This card is definitely a 2-of in the build, and just absolutely amazing to place on your side of the field, as you can banish 2 face-down cards from your extract face down to add 2 level 10 beast monsters with different names from your deck to your hand. You also cannot special a monster in the extract the turn you activate this effect, except Pendulum monsters, which is not that big of a deal, as we're really not using the extract except to pay costs in this particular deck. And if a Nemleria, a monster you control, would be destroyed by battle or by an opponent's card effect, while you have Dreaming Nemleria face up in the extract, you can actually banish 1 face down card from your extract face down instead, which is a great effect just to give you a little bit of protection. But you only need 2 copies of this card because it's so easy to get to. We then play 3 copies of Sweet Dreams Nemleria. This card is amazing as a 3-of in the deck, letting you add a Nemleria monster from your deck to your hand. Then, if you can have a Dreaming Nemleria face up in your extract, your opponent cannot activate cards and effects a turn when Nemleria monsters is normal or special summon to your field, and which is just absolutely amazing. You can also place this card from your graveyard on the bottom of the deck, and then target a Dreaming Nemleria you control and add it to your extract face up, helping you reset your copy of Dreaming Nemleria. We then play 3 copies of Pot of Extravagance. Pot of Extravagance is just really strong in this deck overall, because you really don't need the extract all that much in this particular build. So this card is really helpful at helping you just basically draw 2 cards by banishing 6 from your extract to basically speed up the process of your cards getting banished. And the cool thing about this deck is you don't really need the extract except to pay costs, and this card is amazing to help you draw 2. We then play a single copy of Dracoback. Dracoback's just really good to be able to play alongside our Adventure package, because this card helps us bounce cards off the field. Play a single copy of Fateful Adventure. Fateful Adventure is amazing in the deck to help you get to a bunch of different cards, like your copy of Wandering Griffin Rider, and it's what you place on your side of the field with your copy of Rite of Arameser to basically get your Adventure package rolling. We then play 3 copies of Rite of Arameser. Rite of Arameser is definitely a 3-of in the deck to be able to place an Adventure token on your side of the field and get your copy of Fateful Adventure, which is just absolutely amazing. Again, since this deck really doesn't have a normal summon, this card works really well in this particular build and is absolutely amazing in this deck. So, that's it for these spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to start with a single copy of Nemleria Louvre. This card is really good as a 1-of in the deck, as you can easily get to this card with your copy of Devourer, and this card has the ability to special summon an Nemleria monster or a level 10 beast monster from your hand or deck in defense position, but return it back to the hand during the end phase. You can also banish this card from your graveyard and then target a face-up monster that your opponent controls, and it loses 100 attack and defense for each of your currently banished face-down cards until the end of this turn, which is a great effect just to help you go in for game. We then play a single copy of the Nemleria Continuous Trap. This card is just a really good 1-of in the build and absolutely insane. This card has the ability, if you control another Nemleria card, you can actually banish the following number of cards from your extract face down and then activate the appropriate effects. That if you banish 1, you get to add a Nemleria card from your graveyard to your hand. If you banish 2, any damage you take this turn is halved, and if you banish 3, you can send 1 level 10 beast monster that you control to the graveyard, and if you do, negate the effects of all face-up monsters that your opponent currently controls into the end of the turn, essentially being a Dark Ruler no more, which is absolutely crazy. This card is really good in the deck as a 1-of, but it's so easy to get to with your copy of Devourer that I feel like 1 is all you need. We then play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is definitely a 3-of in the build, just to basically stop your opponent's monster effects and also lock down entire columns of spells and traps. So, that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, keep in mind for the extra deck, guys, this is a Pot of Extravagance build, so you don't really need that many of these cards. They are interchangeable, but I wanted to include the best options for you guys for this particular extra deck. So if there's something in the extra deck that's a little bit expensive, you can change it out for something else, because we very, very rarely summon from the extra deck. So we're going to start off with the Final Bringer of End of Times. This card is basically just a negate, which is absolutely insane. It works with so many level 10 monsters, and this card is really good because when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can detach a material from this card to negate the activation. Then you can detach a material from this card and destroy one card on the field. At the start of the damage step, if this card attacks while it has material, you can destroy a card on the field, and if this XZ7 card is destroyed, you can destroy a card on the field, just basically popping 3 cards for absolutely no reason. This card is really good in the deck as a 2-of. We then play 3 copies of Gustav Max. Gustav Max is really good at helping close out games because it just burns your opponent for 2,000. We then play 2 copies of Juggernaut Lieb. This card is really good as a 2-of as well to help you OTK your opponent, just in case you can summon from the X check. This card does help you do that to help you just swing in for game. We then play for the Spider Engine. We're going to be playing 2 copies of Ravenous Tarantula. Ravenous Tarantula is really good as a 2-of in the deck to be able to summon out to your side of the field because it helps you climb into your copy of number 77. But I feel like 2 is really all you need. It has the ability of all monsters that you control gain attack and defense equal to the difference in your life points and your opponent's life points, which is a great effect. We then play 2 copies of Pain Gainer. Pain Gainer is also really good in this build as a 2-of, as this card can be XZ summoned on top of your copy of number 35, which is really cool to be able to make it on top of your copy of Ravenous Tarantula. And this card is just amazing as a stepping stone, so we can step into our copy of number 77. This card is really good to be able to summon out to your side of the field because it comes out at 4,000 attack points and makes your copy of Zeus absolutely massive. This card is really good in the deck overall as a combo piece in this particular build, and it's overall just a really good card to be able to summon out to your side of the field to make your Zeus absolutely massive. We then played 2 copies of Zeus. Zeus is just really good in the deck overall to be able to summon out to your side of the field, as this card is a board wipe, and it's very easy to get a Zeus on your side of the field that comes out absolutely massive to be able to basically board wipe the field by making a copy of number 77, because you're already going to have 2 materials under your copy of Ravenous Tarantula, which is going to give you a 3rd material of this, a 4th material of this, and a 5th material with your copy of number 77, giving you basically a double board wipe with your copy of Zeus, which is absolutely crazy. So that's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed this deck. If you guys have never played a Nemleria deck, you should definitely give this deck a try, especially with the Adventure Engine included in it, because you really don't need your normal summon in this deck. So it's really helpful to be able to include that Adventure package in this particular build, and I absolutely love this deck. Again, try out those rank 10s, but if there's anything that's too expensive for you guys, you can change them out extremely easily with this particular build, but those are the best options for this deck. So that's going to be this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.